You
All
know,
right, good,
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, but
good.
wow, I can't give any more gratitude for that little speech you got. Jesus Christ, that's a big Hennessy bottle.
Right?
Uh
It's
huh.
pretty big.
Definitely.
We get into business. We don't play around here.
Shit, man. Well, yeah, I have some questions here that I still have and everything, but like
Yeah,
let's revert back just a little bit. You know what I mean,
sure.
and
Let's go.
I
Yeah.
kind of want to see like the rise and not the rise and fall of TNT, but I kind of want to see
Uh,
like what kind of brought that
of
together,
course.
and then from there leading into Street Scholars if you can.
Okay, yeah. So you know what? I went. You know the artist San One.
Yeah.
Okay, out big LA artist. You guys don't know who she is. Look her up. If you guys don't know, like when you guys see street art and you see like pretty girls with the big eyelashes, that's San One.
Mm-hmm.
She's an amazing artist, and she grew up in East LA, Montebello, like me. And I used to see her paintings everywhere. I loved her, and I saw her one day at Pride. I exchanged numbers with her, and then I started following her on social media, and she's like, a big motivator, big pusher, big everything. And a couple times we had saw each other at different places, and we, a hi, a link up, hi, whatever, whatever, take a picture. And then my friend who started working for her, my friend Monique started working for her, she started doing clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And she invited me to her place where she lived, and she used to live in the water tower in LA. And the water tower is just this fucking amazing. Have you ever been there?
No, I never. Like it's weird because I grew up in the county a little bit, but I still feel like a
Uh,
tourist in LA itself.
no, I mean, there's a bunch of spots we don't really know.
True.
Like unless you grew up in there. Anyway, she lived in this big old place, and it was, I mean, amazing. It was beautiful. Like people are looking at me in the hallways, like, "What are you even doing here? Like, you don't belong here." But she invited me in. We talked. I started talking to her a lot, and then she was just like, "Who are you? Like, what do you do? Like, what do you want to do?" She started asking me these questions, and I told her like, "Oh, this is who I am, and this is like what I really want to do." And she's like, "Well, why aren't you doing it?" And this and this and that. She kept the questions were like very, throwing me in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was like, "Why aren't you doing it right now? Like, who's not letting you? Like, you're not letting you, you know?" And I had a moment where it was just like, the people that you want to trade places with, you want to take their advice. I'm sitting in this fucking amazing fucking view. I'm looking outside. I don't think I've ever, like, took a breath of that type of air before. The lights, the city, the windows, the fucking everything. I've never been in such a rich home.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm going to take advice from her. I'm going to listen to this girl. I don't care what the fuck she says. I'm going to listen. And she told me, like, why aren't you, what happened to Be Real TV then? Because I told her I was on it. And I'm like, it's not there no more because Tattoo's doing something else and blah, blah. And she's like, well, don't you know somebody there? Do you know anybody else there? And I'm like, I know the engineer. And she's like, okay, well, call him and tell him that you need a meeting with him. And I'm like, right now? It's like 11 something at night. She's like, yeah, call him right now. I'm like, I'm not going to say no to this girl. So I'm like, fuck it. I call him up. And I'm like, hey, can you get me an interview with Be Real? And he's like, oh, yeah, let me see. Let me talk to him, blah, blah, blah. Then he texted me later, like the next day, and he said, you have a meeting on Friday.
Oh wow.
But she was like, she told me before I left that house, she told me, when you get your meeting with Be Real, you're going to go in there and you're going to tell him what you're going to do. You're going to tell him the show. You're going to tell him what you're going to do on the show. You're going to have this already ready for him, but you're not going to ask him if you can do it. You're going to go in there and you're going to tell him that's what you're going to do. And I was like, fuck. If I want to trade places with this bitch, this is exactly what I have to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I happened to run into Crystal Ellis that week at a gay club at the Abbey in WeHo randomly. And me and Crystal were already friends through years. I used to babysit her baby. And I used to promote with her baby daddy, Sammy Sam. And we linked up. She was really drunk. I was buzzing it. And we were, like, going to the restroom. And we got in a conversation. And she was like, man, she starts telling me, like, the stress of being a DJ. Like, the stress of, like, continuing on as you get older. And it just, like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's so weird. Like, it just came to me that I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to need a DJ. Like, I'm gonna go to Be Real this Friday. I'm gonna need a DJ. Like, this is the perfect opportunity. If she wants to try and do something else, maybe I can get her to do like half, you know? So I told her, I said, you know what? I want to start a show. I'm going to go talk to Be Real, blah, blah. And I think you should do it with me. And she was just down. She was like, I'm down. So we fucking just got together that week. We put a show together. And we told them what we were going to do. And that was it. It was done deal. That was it. I met Be Real. I took them a bunch of tacos. I took the whole studio tacos. And I was letting them know every Tuesday that we wanted to do this show. We called Tits-N-Tacos. And it was two girls that were raw and played music and did interviews and played videos. And he was like, done. So that's how we got onto Be Real TV. Just going in there and telling him.
Yeah, 'cause I remember when I first went to that same studio, I did not know what to expect. That was literally like when I just started starting interviews. I think I did like one or maybe one interview before that, like my very first interview ever. And then I ended up doing that show. And like I did not know what to expect. You're the first person I seen, and you're just like on it. You're just like, okay, yeah, just come on in, just kick it right here. You know, there's bud right there if you want to smoke. There's fucking Hennessy. And I'm like, all right, you know, like, we'll see. I didn't do any of it, but I was like, shit, okay. My heart's all pumping because I'm like, dude, I've never done this before. But to me, just starting out, I just felt, oh, wow, big moves already happening, just like instant. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man.
No, for sure. You know, a lot of people that things like that bring different feelings to people, whether it's nervous or whatever. But as long as you show up, like that's the important part.
No, yeah, tremendously.
Yeah, so it was just one of those things that, like, I showed up to both. When I went to go meet Sand, I got dressed up to go meet Sand. Like, I got dressed up to go meet her again. I didn't care, like, just being there, you know? So the same opportunity came up. I was like, I gotta be there. And I always pulled up, you know? So whatever. You know what? I didn't have a car for a long time. I didn't have a car till I was, like, 26.
Oh, shit.
And I used to say, once I have a car, so... Imagine that. So everything I was doing, like, I had no car at this time, and that's also from helping my family. I used to like literally put that before like saving for my own damn self. So I told myself all the time though, because of the opportunities I missed being younger. Once I learned how this, you know, chasing your dreams work, I was like, as soon as I get my car, like I'm never gonna not show up to shit. Like, I'm always be there. Because this is the reason why I could never get anywhere. So I'll just show up, you know? And then leaving Tits-N-Tacos, we did 5 years. And towards the end, I just felt like to me, like, Crystal was too comfortable with what we were doing. And I wasn't comfortable anymore. I was uncomfortable. And I wanted to change it so bad that, like, I felt as if, like, my heart started, like, pulling back in it. Like, it's not all here because I want something else. You know what I mean? Yeah. And she said she felt that from me, too. So it just made sense. And I was just like, you know what? I think we did 5 years was really good. But I do think it's time to do something else. Yeah. So I kind of called it on that one. And she just, like, she let me, you know? She let me make that call. But I miss it though, and like, she was like the best co-host like for me to have. We just grew together, and that was an amazing friendship that we built through Tits-N-Tacos. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think at like face value, anyone can say the same thing. Yeah. Like, even if it's like one episode or they kept up with the series, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, for sure. Like, and honestly, sometimes I think like, sometimes I'm like, we shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, I've also grown a lot from it, you know, and I've taken everything with me. All those connections I've made there and whatnot, like, they're still with me, and they're stronger than ever because, like I said, when you find artists and you believe in them first, they never forget that shit. Yeah, absolutely. Like, artists can't wait to interview, dude. They can't wait to interview. Like me, I don't like interviews. I don't like to be interviewed, but I know, like, I know it helps. I know, like, you know, people want to get their stuff out there. They want people to get to know them, and that's what these are for. I'm not getting asked every day to do a fucking interview, so this is nice.
Yeah.
But you know, those artists are special because they see you like you just gave them a little bit of their pathway, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I think it's cool what you do.
Definitely, and that's kind of, you know, I said this a couple times on interviews where it's like I kind of create this platform so people can have more of a source for other people to get to know them.
Insight, yeah.
Yeah, because you know they can listen to a song, but then they listen to an interview and they're like, oh, that ain't the same. Like when it came to Nipsey, I was a big Nipsey fan before I listened to his music because of his interviews. I listened to probably more interviews than I ever did his music for the longest.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And then
that's interesting.
Yeah, and then you know obviously, but then you know when you match the beliefs and then to the music, you know everything just sinks in a lot better for myself. And so
for sure.
That's why
for sure.
Yeah, like Nipsey's death was probably one of the last celebrity deaths that made me just say like what the fuck, you know?
Yeah. Well,
that really hit.
You'd say that too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know what? I do think I know what you're saying too, because I feel like people that didn't know Nipsey, once he got all those interviews went out, and I think everyone just got a grip on like, whoa, like this guy who was this guy? Like,
yeah,
he was preaching some good shit. Oh, let me listen to his music. Like,
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I had already been like writing with him since back in the day because I saw him somewhere. Like I saw him at a hookah lounge a long time ago.
Huh.
And when he walked in, we were like, man, who's this Snoop Dogg fool?
Yeah, man.
Like, who's this Snoop Dogg looking fool? And
Big
then
time.
he fucking started rapping, and I was like, damn, this was hard as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to tell him that too. Like, dude, I saw you at the hookah lounge. Like, that's when you weren't big. But It's crazy how the world works, you know?
Big time.
I happened to end up at a fucking station to interview him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Twice. I was only there twice. Jermaine Dupri and Nipsey Hussle. And literally not, like, Jermaine Dupri loves me. And Nipsey was cool as fuck. But I'm sad because I told him too. I said, we chopped it up a little bit. I told him about the hookah bar thing, whatever. He said he liked my style. He said I was good. I told him it was my first time in the radio station. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm like, I'll see you again. I know I'm going to see you again. He's like, for sure, you know?
Yeah.
But it was one of those, another one where I'm like, I'm going to see you again. So when summertime at LBC came up, you know, he was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And he passed like a couple months before that, like 2 months before that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that one hit me like ugly. Because I was like, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Definitely. Like, he was one of the main reasons why I was buying my ticket to go to see the festival. Because, like, you know, like I said, you know, I was a big Nipsey fan, man. Yeah, dude's crazy. You know, so.
We need more Nipseys out there.
Shit. Man.